Good evening. Thank you for joining us for our first ever virtual Fête for the Future. From the outset, Kid Museum's mission has centered on cultivating creativity, curiosity, and compassion through fun, hands-on learning experiences. Whether learning to code or exploring world cultures, our programs equip kids with the skills they need now and for the future. It's been quite a year, and we are very proud of how we've met the moment and shown the value of maker learning during this time. Tonight, we are beyond excited to celebrate 3 of the most innovative and inspirational makers in the world. We are deeply honored to have with us former NASA astronaut and one of only 2 female space shuttle commanders, Pam Melroy, world-renowned chef and humanitarian, Jose Andres, and award-winning cellist, activist, and cultural ambassador, Yo-Yo Ma. These 3 incredible individuals embody what Kid Museum is all about. They are makers, innovators, and forces for change. And now, to kick off the program itself, I am very pleased to introduce our incredibly dynamic MC for this evening. She epitomizes so much of what we hope to instill in our kids. For those of you who don't know her, Fig O'Reilly is a member of NASA's Datanaut program and a champion for diversifying the populations engaged in STEM fields. We are so lucky to have her with us tonight. Please welcome Fig O'Reilly.
Hi everyone, thank you for the lovely introduction, Cara. I am so thrilled to be hosting Kid Museum's first virtual Fête for the Future. Tonight, we are here to celebrate maker education and Kid Museum. I know that if I hadn't been encouraged to explore the wonders of science and technology, to engage with the world with empathy and perseverance, I just wouldn't be here right now. That's the same type of inspiration and encouragement that happens at Kid Museum every day. But not everyone has access to this type of education, and that has to change. The team here at Kid works tirelessly, fostering an environment in which kids develop the skills they need to innovate, adapt, and succeed in this ever-changing world. Frankly, that means everything. Now more than ever. But before I get ahead of myself, let's start at the beginning. What is a maker? What is maker learning? And why does it matter?
To me, a maker is someone who uses their creativity and their imagination and thinks outside of the box to make something that's unique that might even help the world one day.
For me, a maker is someone who embraces the process of creation.
I think a maker is somebody that is helping the community and themselves in a positive way.
And a maker is someone who's constantly adapting their approach to things and constantly trying to make what they are creating better.
A maker is someone who invents something.
Wherever comes to his mind, he makes it.
Being a maker is about having the resourcefulness and the drive and the resilience to learn something you haven't learned before and have the confidence to pursue it and to make it happen.
A maker is really someone who just pushes the boundary of what's possible.
A maker is someone who transforms things. We're bringing the museum to you tonight. Many of you have received a special maker experience kit, so you can spend some time working together as a family to make a cool invention. We videoed a few families making with this kit, and we'll share some highlights throughout the evening. Please have fun with it, and share photos of your creations with the hashtag on the screen.
Now joining us is Corey Lathan, Kid Museum board member and CEO of Anthrotronics, an award-winning engineering research and development company that produces human-centered technology.
Making is all about innovation, forging a path entirely your own in the pursuit of knowledge, and coming up with new and unique methods of problem solving that would have once seemed impossible. Our first guest perfectly exemplifies these qualities. As a former Air Force officer and trailblazing astronaut, Colonel Pam Melroy has built a career around her commitment to innovation and passion for exploration. In total, Colonel Melroy has spent 40 days in space, traveling 16 million miles in service of exploration and discovery. To help introduce my dear friend and a true inspiration, let's go over to our kid correspondent.
Thanks, Corey. I'm Eva Jesse. And I'm Stacy.
we asked our kid community to submit some questions for Colonel Melroy.
I'll get us started. Did you always want to be an astronaut from when you were a kid?
Well, I think the defining moment for me was actually watching the first landing on the moon in 1969. It was certainly within a couple months of that I began to tell everyone that I was going to be an astronaut. It was the second thing you learned about me after my name.
What challenges did you face in your career?
Well, of course, no one's perfect at everything, and I made some decisions about wanting to be an astronaut, but the only astronauts that I knew were military jet test pilots. And when I made that decision, women were not even allowed to fly in the military. But I was very fortunate. The doors opened up in front of me, but it was still really hard work. I had to get a degree. I had to go master being a military pilot, then become a test pilot. And there's a lot of things to learn. And we're not all good at everything all the time. Sometimes you have to work a lot harder at certain parts of it.
What role does creativity play in your work?
Creativity is extremely important across a broad spectrum of reasons. First of all, when you're trying to do something that no one has done before, maybe it's build a rocket ship to go to the moon or to Mars or beyond, you have to have the vision and the inspiration that comes out of creativity. The other thing that I found as an operator is things happen, especially when you're a pilot or an astronaut, things that you don't anticipate or plan for. And sometimes you need to have the creativity to be able to figure out a solution.
What are the qualities of a maker that are relevant in your work?
One of the things that I think is really important about a maker is curiosity. You have to say, how does this work? How am I going to make this work? So you have to really want to understand how something is put together, how it works, what order do you need to do things in. When you stop and think about, for example, my career building the International Space Station, it was a very complicated series of steps. But I think there's another aspect of a maker that's very important. It has to do with the fact that you have the confidence to experiment and to try. You recognize that maybe the first time you make something, it's not perfect, but you learn and then you keep going. And that's a very important quality.
How do you see yourself as a maker? And what does it mean to you?
You can't really feel confident until you've actually tried something. People ask me, well, how did you feel confident that you could do something? Well, I didn't until I tried. And that's what makers do.
Why do you think a maker education is important?
Well, maker education is hugely important. Our world is full of complexity. Machines, even our food, understanding where it comes from. And we've specialized in a way that not everybody actually understands how everything around you works. But if you're educated as a maker, you know you can figure it out. And understanding the world around you is a really important thing.
Can you give me any advice as a kid starting out making?
The only person who can make you quit is yourself. Don't make yourself quit, right? Stick with it. I think in a lot of ways, as I look back at my career, just not quitting, even when I was discouraged, even when something was really hard, and especially when I wasn't sure that I could do it. But I'd rather try and fail than not try at all. And I think that's really important, and you will amaze yourself with what you're able to do.
Colonel Melroy, you're an incredible inspiration for girls and boys everywhere. You prove that you can do what you set your mind to, an experience I've had building my own invention at Kid Museum.
Me too. I hope that one day I can do something as incredible as you, Colonel Melroy.
We're honored to present you with
the Kid Museum Maker Award for Exploration and Discovery.
Oh, thank you. I am so honored. I think maker spaces are fantastic, and I think the next generation of explorers and astronauts are most definitely coming from maker spaces. So I am so thrilled and proud.
If there ever has been a year when we've needed to find our inner MacGyver, it is 2020. We've seen so many makers rise to the occasion and improvise to help lend a helping hand. Whether making masks and face shields, 3D printing pieces for ventilators, or coming up with ways to mass produce hand sanitizer. Or, as Kid Museum did, reimagining how to deliver high-impact maker learning to kids. We need to prepare our kids to be makers, to innovate, adapt, collaborate, persevere, and have empathy. In a fast-evolving world, we need to set the next generation up for success. Kid Museum has the tools to help kids develop these essential skills.
What Kid Museum was able to do in March and April of 2020 is something that I will always be enormously proud of.
I've never felt more creative at work. We immediately transitioned to delivering virtual programs to our family audiences online.
Can't hand a kid a drill through a computer screen, and so when we then think about what it is that we're trying to achieve, we just have to think about doing that differently. We have to really focus in on resourcefulness and resilience and community.
We invented a new way of delivering maker education.
I am most proud of our students that they spend so much time online right now. They spend so much time staring at their screen, and many of them still have so much joy when our maker educators show up on the other side of their screen in a kid t-shirt ready to build.
Thank you so much for having your kids take part in this camp. It's been so much fun this past week.
So one thing, parents, that we have been working on is CAD, three-dimensional modeling. And the great thing about these introductory skills in Tinkercad is they will carry over through middle school, through high school, through college, and into the professional world.
We figured out how to teach fabrication on Zoom. We figured out how to teach coding on Zoom. We figured out how to teach electronics on Zoom, and all of the other social, emotional, non-tangible elements that are so key to maker education. We did our best, and I think we succeeded in getting that across the internet and to our students.
We've been inventing for silly purposes, and also today we've been inventing for a more serious purpose.
It was therapy for us too. I spent the first 3 months of the pandemic in my basement. And when I got to see those kids, my heart filled up. Their eyes lit up, right? I got to see those moments where kids figured something out on their own.
Please join me in welcoming Sam Alamehu, Kid Museum's newest board member. Sam is an entrepreneur and innovator who is currently chair of the board of directors at Cambridge Industries Energy, a leading developer of sustainable city parks.
As a father, I have seen firsthand how Kid Museum has sparked creativity and joy in my children's lives. I know it's more important than ever to ensure that all kids have access to these experiences, whether at home during the pandemic or post-COVID, when we are reinvigorating creativity and ramp up learning and problem-solving skills that have been dormant for far too long. We can't do this alone. We need your support to continue to provide these high-impact learning experiences. Never has it been so important to invest in education, to invest in innovation, and to invest in empathy. Do you care about innovation? Do you love seeing a child's face light up when they accomplish something new? Do you have the maker spirit? Please consider joining me and donating to Kid Museum. Thank you so much for the continued support. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Back to you, Fake.
Up next is Antonio Tejerino, longtime Kid Museum board member and president and CEO of the Hispanic Heritage Foundation.
Makers aren't afraid to explore uncharted territory and apply their talents and vision to make the world a better place. There is no better example of that kind of maker than my friend Jose Andres, the ultimate maker, A maker of food, a maker of change. An immigrant, he's a maker of opportunities. And in times of crisis, he's a maker of comfort and impact for those in greatest need. Jose immigrated from Spain to the United States and became one of the best-known chefs in America. But that wasn't good enough. He established the nonprofit World Central Kitchen in 2010 in the wake of a devastating earthquake in Haiti, where he wanted to use the power of food to empower communities and strengthen economies through food resiliency programs, advancing human and environmental health. World Central Kitchen also offers access to professional culinary training, creates jobs, encourages entrepreneurship, and improves food security for people in need. You know, give someone a fish or teach them how to fish. Jose does both. He once said there's a world of difference between wanting to do good and making it happen. Well, he's made it happen with more than 30 million meals provided to the hungry and tired around the world. It is my privilege, mi gran privilegio, to introduce my friend and inspiration, Jose Andres. Dale, Jose, con ganas. Throwing it to you, kid.
Thanks, Antonio. My name is Zuri, and I'm so excited to speak today with Jose Andres. Thanks for joining us.
I am in the middle of nowhere in a beautiful island called Providencia, where an entire hurricane has done a lot of damage. What I do when I'm not in my restaurants, I come to places like this to make sure that people will have a plate of food to eat.
Did you always want to be a chef from the time you were a kid?
Of sure, I always wanted to be a chef because I remember being a very, very young boy and always helping my mom and my dad, because in my home, both of them cook. And always I help my dad when he will cook on Sunday mornings a very big rice pot. And he will not let me cook, but he will put me in charge of making the fire. One day he told me, my son, if you know how to make the fire and if you know how to control the fire, then you will be able to do any cooking you want in the world. It was a good lesson for a young boy. Control your fire, what motivates you. Master your fire. And then, my friends, every one of you, you will be able to do whatever you want with your lives.
What motivated you to start World Central Kitchen?
One time, 27 years ago, I went to a kitchen in Washington, D.C., where I began volunteering next to homeless and ex-convicts. And I realized that I was learning so much from them. We train those people coming out of the streets. We empower them to learn a new profession. We will find them jobs in the community. In the process, we will feed the hungry people in Washington, D.C. When Haiti earthquake happened over 10 years ago, where many homes were destroyed and many people suffered, I got on a plane. I landed in Dominican Republic. I drove through the mountains into Haiti, and I went to a camp with a lot of refugees that lost their home, and I began cooking. In that moment, I knew that I had to fund World Central Kitchen, to be there next to people in emergencies, to make sure that food will be something they will never miss. That's what we're trying to do, and that's what inspired me to create this organization.
What role does empathy play in your work?
So we all hear the word empathy, 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 and we don't really know exactly what empathy is. But I'm telling you, inside your heart, all of you know what empathy is. Empathy is love. Empathy is caring. Empathy is being there for the people that need you. Maybe your mom or your dad. Maybe a friend from the school. Maybe somebody you never met in your life. Empathy, my friends, is the right way to run the world. If all of you, all of us, we bring empathy forward, the world, I know, is always gonna be a better place. So, let's make sure that we all put all the empathy we have in our hearts out into the world.
How do your own children inspire and influence you in your work?
I have 3 beautiful daughters, Carlota, Inez, and Lucia, 21, 19, and 16. I learned, number one, that I'm not a perfect dad because I'm not with them all the time. And then sometimes when I'm with them, sometimes, you know, when dad maybe is cranky, what I learned from them is that they have a big heart. They have so much patience with me. that they have friends from all types of race, colors, and different countries and different religions. And actually I realized that my 3 daughters don't care about any of that. My 3 daughters only care about people, all the people, we the people, all being very inclusive, especially the ones that don't sound or look or eat like you. I love my 3 daughters because they are making me a better person.
Mr. Andres, I'm so inspired by everything you've done. You're an amazing role model, which is why I'm super excited to present you with the Kid Museum Maker Award for Social Impact.
I don't know who decided to give this award, but I'm telling you, I don't deserve this award. You know who deserves this award? This award is deserved by, you see, it's a lot of men there, but actually we have also a lot of women there. Actually I have one here behind the camera. You know who deserves this award? Not me. But this award is deserved by the many people in World Central Kitchen. Those are the people that really deserve the award. Remember, it's never anymore about I, the person. That will be not good and actually very lonely. I'm very sad if you think that you are the only one that can make something happen. You need to remember that it's about we, the people. 3 powerful words. We, the people, all of us, you and I, together, we can empower each other. So, thank you for the award, not on my behalf, but on behalf of all the women and men of World Central Kitchen.
You know what's better than inventing something on your own? Inventing with the people you love. Here at Kid Museum, we believe that collaboration is an integral part of the maker process. Let's see how some of our Kid Museum families are working together on their Fête Maker Kits.
I'll hold this. Let's just make sure we have all the right pieces. So this goes in here. Turn it off. It's on. All right, try it. See if it works. Woohoo! Okay, 2 of them. Yeah, I like that.
At Kid Museum, our creative hands-on experiences provide a much-needed outlet for kids to find joy in learning while building skills for the future. We believe that if you can think it, you can make it.
When you have a maker mindset, you're always having this motivation to keep learning, even if you see a lot of obstacles along the way.
Kid Museum is different from school because at Kid Museum, you have so many more options.
And it gives you an opportunity to use more of your creativity and your imagination to create something unique.
I'd say Kid Museum is a lot more student-led than anything we ever do in school. It's all about what the student wants to create.
Our programs are designed to really draw on exploration and inquiry so that we can put a concept out there and then students are able to follow that down their own unique path. They develop a personal connection to what it is they're learning, and it's that personal connection that hopefully drives them to continue learning.
You can put a pile of materials in front of kids and just see what they do with them.
Right now we're actually making these earfalls that you can use to make your mask fit better.
The invention that I made was able to solve the environmental problem of forest fires. It's a replica of a tree that can detect fires and also be able to access help.
Please remember, you can be a part of creating more stories like this for even more kids by donating tonight to Kid Museum. Please visit our website, text the number you see on your screen, or bid on some fantastic items in our online auction.
Our next guest is no stranger to using his imagination for invention. A child prodigy turned world-renowned cellist, Yo-Yo Ma has perfected his technical skills to create moving and timeless beauty in the form of music. And while he has been a prolific performer around the world, he has applied his talents to promote global connections and social justice. It is such an incredible honor to have the great Yo-Yo Ma join us tonight. I really like to thank him on behalf of the whole board and the entire Kid community. And now, without further ado, I would like to take it to the Kid correspondent to learn more.
Thanks, Sam. Hi, I'm Felipe.
And I'm Ariana. Please join us in welcoming Mr. Yo-Yo Ma. I read that you started playing the cello when you were 4 years old. How did you get interested in the cello at such a young age?
I wanted to play the double bass like there was no tomorrow because it was the biggest thing there was. But I couldn't play the double bass because it was too big and I wasn't big enough. So the next biggest instrument was this. And for a 4-year-old kid, that was good enough, and I stayed with it.
What attracts you to such a wide range of music?
I got really interested in playing all different kinds of music because they're all different kinds of people. And I could get inside all those different kinds of people and figure out what they're feeling, what they're thinking. I thought that was a pretty cool thing to do. So that's why I keep doing it. And it never gets boring.
How do your own children inspire and influence you in your work?
I love children. And children are exhausting. But they also make me the happiest person in the world because it takes me back to when I was a child, when I discovered things for the first time, and I get to see that again in someone else. And it gives life meaning and joy, and it's constant.
What was the defining moment in your life that led you to identify as an innovator?
You know, I don't think of myself as an innovator or an inventor. But guess what? We all do that naturally. Every single one of our lives, we are experimenting with. We are the experiment. And the way we lead our life from beginning to the end is one giant experiment that nobody else can make. Only you can make that. And you have a say in how you want that experiment to go.
What does it mean to be a maker, both in terms of the arts and in social justice?
You know, I love the word maker. Whether you're drawing, or telling a story, or painting, or creating a bowl, or making music, you're expressing something so someone else can look at it and say, oh, I get it. So that's communicating something, communicating a state of mind, communicating happiness. Social justice involves something very simple. It's treating someone else the way you would like to be treated. So if you do that, you're a peacemaker.
What roles do imagination and invention play in your work?
I think of all the music there is, it was all invented because someone could imagine it. And that's what making is all about. You use your imagination, you use your memory, and you use your curiosity to find out how to match it, change it. So it tastes good, it sounds good, it smells good, it looks beautiful. It takes imagination.
Hi, I'm Ellie.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
My sister and I were both first-year violinists in high school.
We are also makers. We've invented new toys and we created a high-tech violin that lights up when you play. The interface was meant to help the deaf and hard of hearing enjoy music through visual representation using colored LED strips.
We also started our own invention lab that focuses on creating innovative ways to combine music with engineering.
Thank you, Mr. Ma, for inspiring us and so many others, and for sharing your incredible talent and creativity with the world.
We are honored to present you with the Kid Museum Maker Award for Cultural Innovation.
A Maker Award for Cultural Innovation is is something I accept with deep pleasure and gratitude. Because if you can make life good for somebody else, or for yourself, or both, that gives deep, deep happiness. So I thank you for the award. I'm so pleased. I'm very proud. So to all of you, keep making. You know what gives rise to imagination? Playfulness. Because when you're in play, different thoughts and ideas come together. So here's an example rather, of playfulness in music.
Thank you for the amazing performance, Yo-Yo Ma, and thank you to Pam Melroy and Jose Andres for sharing your time, insight, and wisdom with us. You have made this a fête to remember, and most importantly, you've inspired us and our kids.
Maker education is important because it's this next generation, next several generations of kids coming up. They're going to either save the planet or it's going to fall apart.
When I think about the future, one problem that I would like to solve is peanut allergies.
One main problem I'm thinking about that really is something that I think about a lot is that there are a lot of homeless people in the world.
I think that with the right technology and science, we can solve climate change.
If you empower children to be their best selves, instead of telling them what their best selves are, they'll get there.
I do consider myself a maker.
I think I am a maker.
I do consider myself a maker.
I'm a maker. I'm a maker. What makes me a maker is what I was born with.
That brings us to the end of our event. Thank you all for joining us tonight and for your generous support of Kid Museum and Maker Learning. The auction and donation portals will stay open for another 30 minutes, so please consider supporting us and our mission. Keep inventing, keep exploring, keep making. I'm Fig O'Reilly. Good night.